Hey now. Oh, perfect, Lily's dad. Sneezing when we start. You had 30 seconds to sneeze and you didn't sneeze. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the HYROX, the hybrid live show, which I might go back to calling the hybrid happy hour. And it seems like we get better every week. We've got more fun guests every week. Two of the four of us got a haircut this week. And we're going to start clockwise by what I'm looking at. First up, the handsome, hairless hammer of HYROX. It's Ugly Dave Claxton up in Canada.
By the way, I get like a haircut every other day, so it's like not so special.
All right. Bottom right, who people think wants to be just like me, so he got a haircut when I got a haircut. It's Lily's dad, a.k.a. Anthony Parasini of the Hybrid Engine. Welcome, Anthony.
I didn't get a haircut. I got them all cut.
Bah!
That was appropriate of the dad jokeness. Well done. Well done.
Thanks for catching it.
And last but not least, she's the creator or co-creator of the phrase "fuck it, we ball."
Oh, I love that.
Number 4 on the leaderboard, number 1 in our hearts, Vivian Tafuto.
See, I was confused. I thought that was Linda Meyer. Sorry, man.
Wait.
It's a drop back to the.
That is no. I know what you're talking about. This
There you go. There you go.
I know.
It was on a live stream.
Linda Blair.
Okay.
Linda Blair. If we're talking about Brass.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Linda Blair.
Linda Blair.
From The Exorcist?
You didn't go back and watch Chicago's race? I go back and watch them all. Bracken's talking about Linda Meyer and just keeps calling her Linda Blair, and she's not even in the race. She like had dropped out of the race or something. It was like way back, so he wasn't even calling the right person.
He kept calling Vivian Linda Blair.
Yeah.
But is Linda Blair the name of the person in The Exorcist? Why do I think that?
Yes.
Hey Siri, who's Linda Blair?
I'm sorry, guys. I did this. This was me.
Dave, you know what happens.
Linda Denise Blair is an American actress and activist, known for her work in the horror genre. She first came to prominence with her portrayal of Regan McNeil in the film The Exorcist, for which she won a Golden Globe Award and received a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. Listen, it's important. I like people to know these things. So I did not have time, because I was getting myself pretty for this weekend in Anaheim. I did not have time to make my amazing topic-changing magic board. So you'll have to just imagine it's there. But I think we should start with, we've done this trend the last few weeks, mostly so I could brag about my weight loss. And that's the host health and fitness update. Vivian, in the last 7 days, is there any training or exercise or health things you want to update us on in the last 7 days of your life? Or have you just been on a regular schedule?
Yeah, I mean, pretty regular. Not too much to update on. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I had a good tempo run I was excited about. And then I was so happy about the tempo run that I was driving my car and listening to Elton John, and I was speeding and I got pulled over.
What song?
Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. I was so zen. I was so happy. And then I got pulled over. But I didn't get a ticket.
You didn't get a ticket?
I'm 2 for 2 for getting pulled over and not getting a ticket. So
did you show him the hybrid rankings? How did you get out of it?
Well, he just pulled me over, and I forget what he said to begin with, but he was like, "I pulled you over because you were speeding. Like, were you in a rush, or did you just not realize?" And I was like, "I honestly didn't realize until I saw your lights go on." And then I looked down, and I was like, "Oh no!" But yeah, and then he was like, "I'm just gonna give you a warning," and I was like, "Cool." Probably just saw how red my face was from the tempo run. Was like, this girl needs all the help she can get. So
you should have turned up the music and been like, "Bro, it's Elton. Don't you just jam to this?" And he'd be like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Wow.
And what state is that again?
Texas.
So were you pulled over by a county cop, a marshal, somebody with a hat?
He did have the hat on.
He did or didn't have the hat on?
Wait, I don't even remember if he had a hat on. I don't know. I stopped caring when he told me that I was just getting a warning. I just like shut up and was just like, all right, life's good.
I know when to be quiet.
I've definitely got warnings, but I've gotten far more actual tickets. Look who's checking in from the other side of the house.
Lauren.
Anthony, did you have any health or arrest updates you wanted to give us?
I mean, I was lax and I didn't do any like harder runs than easy runs this week, and I missed one day of running. So I was only like 45 miles of running this week, and I did a long run yesterday, but I also did a workout. I was super busy at work all week, so everything was pushed back. So trying to get things done this last weekend, Mother's Day weekend, I ended up staying up until about 4:30 in the morning, Saturday night to Sunday, just because I was doing things all day. Didn't get a workout until I think I went in the garage to work out at like 2:30 in the morning. Ended up doing a 12-minute AMRAP of assault bike and bench press. So it was, you did 3 and 3, 3 calories, 3 bench press, 5 calories, 5 bench press, 7, 7, 9, 9, 11, 11, 13, 13, all the way up for 12 minutes. And then as soon as that was done, I went over and did same rep scheme for another 12 minutes of ski erg calories and burpee box jump overs. It was fun. It's my chest is very, very sore, but doing that at 2, 3 a.m. in the garage was a different experience.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know. A lot. So,
Dave, what do you got, buddy?
Well, what I got, I had to put headphones on. We just started getting hail the size of golf balls, and I'm like, I couldn't even hear you guys talk, so I had to mute and go on. And it seems to have slowed down a bit. Yeah, I'm prepping. I got an RX one coming up this weekend, so I've been prepping for that, getting some movements down because a little out of my wheelhouse, really more Anthony's forte, a lot of squat cleans and stuff like that, things that are just okay. Hold on. So just to interrupt. That's what was falling out of our sky.
holy crap.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
neighbor was running down the road.
that's why it seems to have stopped now, but that's why I couldn't hear. Yeah, so getting ready for that, doing a little bit of running, getting kind of a little more strength up, changing things up a little bit, just with adding a lot more RX1 to my forte, doing a little CrossFit style practice, and just having fun, enjoying it all.
Fantastic. I realize as we're talking that I did not exercise last week. I had that thing at DECA that messed up my chest and I was trying to rest, but I guess it's safe for me to try again. But this is my second week of little to no carbs. And I could not be happier. On 4/29 when we did this, I was 188.1. Today I'm 182.6. And I may never eat another carb because it's so drastic, the difference between going from, for me, pretty healthy, which is like, just meat and rice every day and mostly healthy and just snacking on my kids' stuff, to no bread, no rice at all. So I may never eat it again because I can see it in my face. I don't know if you can, but I can see it in my face. I'm already thinner. So I'm very happy.
How have your energy levels been?
It's funny. Dave asked the same thing. Well, I haven't tried to exercise, so I'll probably have to consume more calories when I exercise because I'm just not consuming that much. I don't use the apps or anything. But I've just I guess I've been skipping breakfast. I didn't even realize that. I think I've been skipping breakfast. And then it's just eating a lot lighter. That's all I can tell you. And the hardest part is the weekend. And so the fact that I survived 2 weekends is what makes me really happy. And then traveling is kind of the real test, right? So, and I've got a couple weeks of travel coming up. Because when it came to lunch, it's like, okay, just go to Chipotle and get the big thing, right? Just get the rice and the bean and maybe have the chips. But lunch, the other day I was driving around and I was like, I'll just go to the grocery store and buy some lunch meat and some grapes and call it a day. And that worked for me. So anyway, so far so good.
I'll be straight up. Sounds like strict calorie depletion to me, and not maintainable.
Well, when I start exercising, I've got to consume more. Like right now, I'm hungry a fair amount. I'll be honest. But yeah, when I'm gonna have to eat a fatter dinner at night. But I think I could still go. I could just have the one rice at night, instead of lunch and dinner, which is what I usually do. Like chicken and rice for lunch, turkey, meat, and rice for dinner. And yeah, I think bread is just massive, dude. Again, it's not like I eat a ton of it, but just being super hardcore Nazi about it is making a difference.
Do you did you try, just for that rib thing you were having, did you try just picking something up or doing that motion just at all?
No, I will tomorrow. I'm gonna get home too late for this today, but no, I think I will tomorrow, and we'll see how that goes.
If you want a little fix for food, these things are pretty good. These are just little chocolate chip granola bars, no preservatives stuff.
Well, I think
eat it before your workout. That's your workout carbs.
What is it? Tell me what it is again.
Oh no, I just go get them at Smith's.
I mean, listen, everybody's what do you call it? Your mileage may vary, but I feel like it's kind of like some people do the juice cleanse to reset and then they can kind of chill out. I think that's kind of what I'm doing. If I can fucking get under 180, which I haven't, if you look at my insane notes app, which I actually have going back 5 years, but I finally deleted it. Vivian just couldn't take it anymore. It was just insane. It's up 5, down 5, up, just the same. And once I get under 180, it's okay, now I can decide and because it's just been fucking crazy making. Just the ups and downs have just been insane. So that's where I'm at.
I need Vivian to come back. I wanted to ask her some stuff.
Well, we're going to go right to next topic, which is, and by the way, I can see you making notes. I see you making live changes to the notes. Let's start with Deca. Let's start with the Deca rulebook, what we like, what we don't like. Deca was most of the call last week. New rules came out. If you haven't seen them, go look at them. I made a nice, pretty post to simplify it. The long and short of it is, for all the non-timed ones, right? The ones without calorie measurements, there's seconds penalties depending on the exercise. What do we think?
You want to go first, Dan?
Sure. So one of the things that I do like is that there's the penalties. I think, Yancey's really fair. So we really like Yancey. Him reinstating them is great. I do think that 30-second penalty for dropping the ram, I don't think it's enough. If it's a safety issue, make it a safety issue and do it. And I don't agree with the whole argument that the dropping the ram and the lunge is the same as the burpee. It's not. People's faces aren't down by where the ram gets dropped in the lunges, and they are when the burpee is, right? So there's literally, you can get hurt if somebody else drops a ram in the burpee area versus dropping a ram in the lunges area. So the other thing on that, I really I like all the time penalties. They all seem really fair. I like that, they had already set a precedent with previous athletes, so they adjusted Jess's time to fit that precedent, and then moving forward, they're going to change it. I mean, there's a lot of ways to go there. Originally, I was like, yeah, I think the DQ should stand because that's what the rule book says. But already having the precedent there kind of makes it tough to say one did this and the other didn't. So unless they were going to go back and DQ the other athlete, then reinstating her and fixing it going forward is the right thing to do.
Vivian, we're talking the new rule book. You're a Deca athlete. What do you think? She has nothing to say on the subject.
Frozen.
Slightly frozen.
Sadly
really
frozen.
Focused. Really focused.
Dave, the man who apparently takes credit for helping write the rule books and some of the ones that weren't at it. So what do you say?
This was all me. No, excuse me. I'm in line with a lot of it.
Vivian is.
He's freezing.
So I'm in line with a lot of it. I was publicly stated that I I thought the same thing about the 5 seconds for Jessica to match the Killian and then to change it going forward. I'm not going to argue with Anthony where maybe it should be a stiffer penalty for the ram being dropped. Maybe it should. I don't know. Like that could be either that could be worked out in stuff. But I was adamant though that I did not think the DQ should stand, because what had happened was, and for those of you who did think the DQ should stand, when
you can suck it.
Yeah, I was right. No, when they wrote the rule book there, it's almost like they would have got an incomplete on it, because they put in a rule not to drop the ram, but then they didn't put in a penalty for what happens if you do so. So then you had to kind of backtrack, and that's where they ended up with the DQ was, okay, so we backtrack. So it says that if you drop the ram, it's not a rep. Okay, so then we have to backtrack to what happens if there's not a rep. Well, if there's not a rep, okay, that's a DQ for not finishing your entire zone. So it was never intended to work that way. So I can get where the logic would be if you follow the rulebook exactly to have the DQ. But if you follow logic and the fact that Deca themselves admit that they had not completed their own rulebook, then they were able to institute the penalty. And like you said, you got to go with precedence. You can't have one guy get 5 seconds and then someone else, not get the same penalty. It doesn't work that way. It comes off as bias. So I think they did well there. They did the right thing. I would have sooner leaned to nobody got disqualified, because just the judge's call be on the floor is what the judge's call was.
Well, our buddy Rich was very upset because he says this makes them like Spartan. And that was some of the conversation on Race Brain last week, is like, oh, we don't want this to be like Spartan. And I think, like Dave and some other people said, this is a one-time thing. Like we believe it. It's not just like, oh yeah, like we actually believe that now that these are here, it won't be a let's change it every time. Let's reverse things. Let's change it after this awards. We believe this is just what was missing, and now moving forward, there's no. It's like Yancey said it best. We don't want to kick people out. You just don't want to kick. That's a bad thing to do. You're out of here. Don't do that. So they fixed that, and I'm fine with it.
All right. So Rich is taking the hardcore Philly stance. And I'm going to call Rich out on this, because I call shenanigans, I call bullshit, or I call whatever you want to call it. But so Rich is like, DQ should stand. And again, understood to stick to the rule book. But let me paint a picture here for Rich and everybody else who says the DQ should stand. Let's go back to HYROX, Washington, D.C. Oh, he did it to me again. I hate that.
Oh,
so let's go back to HYROX.
You were making a stance. I wanted to make it solo, but I know you hate it.
We're back to HYROX, D.C. Rich Ryan goes in there, puts in a heck of a race. I think he came 5th and got his spot qualified for Worlds, right? Fantastic. We're all
barely
happy. We're all very proud of him. Then all of a sudden, Christian comes up to him and says, listen, Rich, your judge miscounted. You did 99 reps. I'm sorry, you're disqualified and you're not going to Worlds. Does that seem like a reasonable thing to do?
He'd lose his mind.
He'd lose his effing mind.
That's a great example. I'm so glad you said that.
So, Rich, I'm calling you out. I'll hear you on Race Brain. Tell me I'm wrong.
All right, Vivian. Are you in Dial-Up City? What's happening? We really want you on the show. What is happening?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I went upstairs to go closer to my Wi-Fi router. I don't know why it's freaking out. No, I've been leaving so that I didn't have to comment on this. I agree with. No, I don't know what's going on with my Wi-Fi. I agree that like post race decisions shouldn't be made. Like decisions should be made in the moment. I guess it's good that they have like a rule book more clarified now, and if they don't continue to change it, if this was kind of like a one time we need to change, we need to figure it out, then I think we can just continue how it is. But hopefully, like if there continues to be like changes post race or confusion, that's not what we want. Like that would be really annoying to have finished a race and then found out after the fact that something went wrong, and be DQ'd, or like just have the race results switched up after the fact.
Well, speaking of which, I didn't get to do a post about this because it kind of was too difficult to, but I wanted to give a shout out because actually something happened in DECA Spain. They swapped first and second, and they didn't have video rule. They didn't have video, so they just kind of talked to everybody, the judges, the athlete himself, and I will tell you what he said because I used ChatGPT to translate for me. Because I asked him the question in his language. Oh damn it. Hang on.
Well, he's looking that up. The other, you're muted, Dave, if you tried to say something there. The other thing I was going to say is that I liked how Yancey talked about the safety, but then he said they weren't going to adjust the rule book. And I think an easy way, like safety on the med ball sit-ups especially, just to fix it, because I see there's two things there, but one of them can be the rep doesn't end until you catch the ball. So the last thing people do isn't just throw the ball and it bounces off or ricochets off the target. The last thing they have to do is catch the ball, and then they can just put it down and go. So that way it's not bouncing off the target and they're moving out of the way to let the ball go by them. If the rep ends with a ball catch.
In that particular scenario, I'd be fine with that. I'd also be fine with actually what Matt suggested, having just a little square at the bottom, right in front of the rig, and just placing the rig.
Yeah, but he still didn't change that one, by the way.
No, and he won't. No,
like if you did it just like the Rams, where you
why
just have to put the ball back.
Did it for all the other ones, and it's like, so now you're just intentionally leaving off that one that says put the ball down.
I mean, they're athletes, right? They can catch a ball.
I'm going to launch that fucker, and I think everybody should until they change the rule. Yeah, Dave Werfel's on top of it. Look at that. How tough is that?
Yeah.
I mean, if they just catch it off the thing. And other parts of the med ball sit up especially is like people are just doing like a laying wall ball right now. If instead you maybe lowered the target and said the ball can't leave your hands, then like, oh, got to touch above my head. I have to do an actual sit up and touch the target.
Yeah. There's, and like I said, there's a lot that they improved here that I like. And then there's still a lot that's not that is still left undone.
Well, before you talk about what you don't like, I just want to give, it's Pau Nacenta. Is that how you say it? Yes, no.
Who are you asking?
I don't. Who are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Pau, N-A-C. Yeah, it's Pau, like Pau Gasol. Anyway, so I asked everyone, including Angel, the guy who runs HYROX, Deca Spain, and they all gave me the same answer, and including Pau, who said, when I asked why he was penalized, he said, translated, because I missed 3 reps in a workout, we weren't sure exactly how many, and in the end, we figured out it was 3 reps. In the end, I don't want to have a prize that doesn't belong to me, and I accept the penalty. Cool. Like, when has that ever happened? Like, that's just like everybody agreed. They just kind of got together. The guy who was behind him, the guy who was in front of, like, it just worked out. So anyway, good for them.
My question about that one then would be, and obviously with the translation would have been difficult for you to ask, but how did they get to that point where he was allowed to finish 3 reps short? Like, did the judge miss count?
Well, clearly it's just like in America. The judge clearly missed it, but people watching and the athlete in front and behind him were like, there's no way, because he started here and ended here, and he just kind of admitted it. He was like, yeah, I guess I did. And so there you go. All right, thank you, Glenn. Glenn's gonna make just rocket Glenn. If that ball doesn't end up in your neighbor's yard, I'll be upset.
Just smash the target.
So Vivian, is there anything you don't like about the new Deca rules?
I like that she's frozen in a thinker.
We all just do this.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, there she is.
Frozen face right now. I haven't read them. I don't know. I did not do the homework for this podcast.
Did not understand the assignment.
I just show up and I do things. I did not. I was actually going to ask you. I'm like, is there anything that I need to like do for this? But
no,
do good reps.
I don't know. I have not been paying attention.
No, as far as doing anything, there's nothing changed.
Yeah, I mean,
there really isn't any. There really isn't any rule changes per se. All they did was institute penalties for certain situations. So as long as you were doing what you were supposed to be doing before, nothing changed. It's not like they changed a movement standard or they changed a count or they changed a weight or anything. It's all the same. They just added clarification as to what happens if you do this or don't do that. So yeah, there's
what did you want to say you don't like? Because I'm going to go ahead and present it and we can take a peek at it. What do you not like?
Who are you talking to?
You said you had some stuff you didn't like.
Oh, well, I think for one, I don't think athletes should be penalized when the judge counts wrong. I don't think that's fair when an athlete's told, go ahead, cross the line. You've done 20 reps. Oh, wait, I screwed up. You get a 20-second penalty.
I'd say yes and no. The athlete is still responsible for counting their own reps, and to the judge is there to make sure you're doing the reps correctly, not always to count. So the athlete, it's on them, but I do think the judges need to be helping them.
And I'll call it spade a spade. I don't think Lauren counts up to 100 reps when she's doing the wall balls.
No, she doesn't.
And
but that's because it's not required. If it
Lauren,
was required,
Lauren Griffith, she counts every single one. I talked to her about this.
Well, she's always unbroken anyway, so it's fine. But no, I don't agree. If
you're talking about setting a precedent, and I know I don't like comparing the sport to CrossFit very much, but CrossFit, if there's a mistake done in a competition, they say it's on the athlete, should have been counting. And when you talk about the open, if you're like, oh, my judge miscounted, well, that doesn't matter. It's on you to have counted your reps properly.
I'm with you on the open there, right? Because a lot of times the open is a person just doing it on their own, even if they don't have a judge. And then it's also a video reviewable thing. That's the other thing, is I don't really want video review. I think that opens a can of worms. I can't imagine that in all in CrossFit that people are not missing counts on the judges for all the massive amounts of reps they do at the speed they do.
When they did it in the games, Cara Saunders missed 3 reps at the end of a workout because their judge told her to cross the line. Her judge said, go, go, go. And they came back and said, you should have been counting 2. So she got penalized. They penalized her, though, only the average speed of all of her reps of the ones before that. So they added 6 seconds because it was 2 seconds per rep.
I would accept that. I would accept that.
Right. And so that's where it falls back on them, though, to get good judges, because that's like the fail safe. Hey man, I know the judge told you to go, but that's not what happened. If that's happening every race, then your judges suck. Even worse than we thought.
Well,
did you hear what he said on my call, which was
they're going to have the crew do the elites.
8 Spartan employees, 8 DEKA employees, which I didn't even think they had 8. I thought they had 5.
I thought he said 7, but yeah, that's good.
So
if they get the podium in the top 5, right?
I'm okay with that too, and still continue to train decent. Yeah. So something that came up, I'm curious to your thoughts, including Frozen Vivian, is the idea of Yancey said, hey, everyone needs to do a slot, even the elites, because we don't have enough judges. And I thought that's actually not such a bad idea. Hey, we're all building the town barn together. And she's like, no, fuck that. She's like, I had an athlete that I was coaching, and she's doing 5 races. And in between the races, I'm watching her volunteer, and she was like, go get off your feet, go rest. Yeah. So that made me think about it. And is it big deal, little deal, no deal to ask everyone participating to also volunteer to ref? Start with you, Vivian.
Good. Good. Great.
I love Vivian.
I personally haven't. Oh, good. I'm okay. I'm just turning my camera off.
I'm so sorry, Vivian, but go ahead. We have to do this. Sorry.
Can you even hear me?
Yes. Please continue.
Okay.
Now we can't.
Now we cannot hear her.
It's a very dramatic pause.
Yeah, I personally haven't ref since, right? Ref. It's kind of been it's been mixed messaging. Like I've seen it in the emails that, you know, we have this athlete judge program, but it hasn't really been enforced, I guess. I don't know what, like, if they're just, like, I don't know if the deal is, like, if there is a mandating thing, but I know I haven't judged. So, like, I'm okay with it. If there's some organization and I can be told exactly when and where I have to go. But also the elites are in a better position probably than most, where we go first. So then afterwards, we like don't have to worry about the whole standing around and getting tired before your race, because we would go at whatever 8-9 a.m. and then like should be done for the day and have like the time and not have to worry about being on your feet and everything before your race.
Dave, what do you think?
I think a lot of it. Okay, so first off, I think it's completely okay to ask. To ask anyone is okay. That's fine. To request whatever, no problem. That's not a problem at all. To mandate it, I don't really agree with, especially at Worlds where most of the elites are competing in multiple events.
But what about even a regular? I mean, there's only 5 or 7 DECAs. What about any events?
So to what Vivian says there, again, if you're requesting it and the athlete, a lot of times the elites are running both the solo and they'll be running the teams later in the day. And so are the age groupers and so are the open waivers. But again, I think it's okay to ask. I don't think it's okay to mandate. And quite frankly, just because you're a great athlete does not mean you're a great judge. It often is quite the opposite, because as we know, so many of the athletes are so talented, so athletic, that they're not quite as well versed on the rules as old slugs like me who need every bit of the rules to help them. So yeah, just because you're a great athlete, you're not necessarily a great judge, just like you're not necessarily a great coach. So
but the reps, but the stuff that we're asking them to count, we're not asking them to do fucking pistol squats with a thruster. Like they're doing pretty simple judging.
Because we haven't seen that the overhead rams to lockout's hard to judge, right?
I think it's pretty simple. That one girl made it really hard. Everyone else I've seen, it's like
go
you're
back
clearly
and watch
not
that
doing
video,
it.
and I defy you to find me one person who did all good reps.
But is it hard to
From
do
NorCal.
good reps? Which one were we talking? Who were you talking about?
NorCal.
No, not NorCal. There was, I think we shared it amongst each other. Maybe there was a man and a woman doing it, and the guy was definitely doing the in front.
Yeah.
But the woman was actually, it was like CrossFit style. It was so fast I couldn't quite tell. I think our people can tell what a good rep is. I'm not saying they do it. I'm saying it's easy to judge it.
Yeah, but I'm saying that evidence would say contrary. All you have to do is watch the last zone and any of the DEKA fits this year, and you'll see so far that it's not there. I mean, the evidence points to the contrary. And I'll tell you, having judged events in my own gym, that making sure people go all the way to lockout is not easy. Everybody hits you with, well, I can't lock out past this, or I can't do this, or I can't do that. It's not an easy one. And that's one of the reasons when they first went to the lockout that I was skeptical that it was a good idea.
I think it's way better than ducking, which is what people were doing. I want to get a quick comment here from Heather White, who says they carried, and that is how you say her name, White. They carry that over to the season's races for athlete judging. For this season's races for athlete judging, I registered for DEKA FIT Austin and got an email about it. I'll be running elite and then teams. I will not be volunteering between. What do you think, Lily's dad?
Well, I agree with Dave about it's okay to ask. It's not okay to mandate. A lot of those elite athletes are coaches, and they have other athletes running throughout the day that they have to go see and watch to support their own communities. I also think that, it's a little bit on DEKA. It's their business if they want to have it grow to cover the event, right? There are elite athletes that want to go judge, and they should be allowed to and have the opportunity to, but it shouldn't be mandated that they have to, especially those racing in other races throughout the day, or those racing at like world championships where they're on 3 different days. Like you're having somebody that could be racing, 6 events over 3 days, and you're telling them that they have to go judge and stay on their feet and at the venue between their own events and after this event, and then they still have the next day. Like, no, they shouldn't have to do that when they're trying to prepare themselves.
All right, we ready to move on to Doha?
Sure. Well, can I ask Vivian, but just in case, like her,
can you ask the ghost
here.
of Vivian?
The ghost of Vivian. The ghost of Vivian. I was requested to ask you if you are doing anything September race-wise, because I'll put it in the chat here for us. Lauren, you should get a hold of her. She wants to know if you want to do this running and swimming event. It's like partners, and you trail run and swim between open water swim between islands, and then run over the island, and then open water swim.
Oh, I've seen it.
Island to island, and it's a 2-person team. So
this is called Otillo, not Otillo.
It's in Sweden.
Katie Knight did it, and I interviewed her about it I think 2 years ago.
It's in Sweden in September. There's 9 kilometers of open water swimming and 61 kilometers of trail running that you guys do together. Stay with your partner.
Oh my gosh. I have
so that turns into like 30 something miles of running, and
you run with paddles on your hands.
Paddles. Yeah, I would do it. I have not been swimming at all, but I'll ball. I'll do it.
Yeah, you guys can swim together.
Fuck it, we ball. All right.
Yeah. Do it. Sweden sounds fun.
Yeah.
All right. Let us move on to
get a hold of Lauren.
I will.
To another fantastic money race. More money paid out for first prize than the first prize at the majors, which is pretty darn exciting.
I think first, second, and third were all more than what the majors paid out.
I wasn't sure, so I said first place because I didn't want to be wrong.
Yeah, first, second, and third were all more than the majors.
So, even though we are but a few weeks out from Worlds, Meg was like, I'll sneak down and make 7K. So that's what happened.
We still don't know the World's prize money.
Yeah, well, we know it's $150,000 prize purse. Whether or not that includes the $20,000 of team or not, then it's still, we know the purse, but we don't know the breakdown. We tried to do the breakdown the other day, or last week, or the week before on this show.
I know you watch every race you can. This race was not filmed. What did you learn about this race? What did you learn about this race?
Well, first off, Tara, as like I'm a fan of the sport. We're fans of the sport as well, so it's really cool to see Tara come back, put up a big PR, and like that's awesome for her. And she was in a good fight too, like against Jess for most of the race. So she fought. She's obviously fit right now, and she put up a big PR and came out in second. Like, good for Tara. Sad she's not going to be in Anaheim or Worlds, but awesome to see her come back to it, and it should be good signs for next year.
Did you dig into splits?
A little bit. Let's see. What do you want to know?
I just know that you do the research, especially on your wife's competitors. So
yeah, well, I break them all out.
Do you have a Vivian file? What's in the Vivian file?
I do have. I have an Excel file that has a bunch of sheets on the bottom, and the Vivian file, the Vivian one. There's a Vivian tab. It's a tab on the master Excel sheet of elite women splits.
If you don't have anything, that's fine. I just thought you might.
I don't know what you're asking for.
The course didn't seem like it's like super fast or super abnormal.
It was a 3-lapper.
Yeah, but it seemed pretty. Like, the time seemed pretty relevant. Like they didn't seem obscure.
I think it's exactly comparable to Cologne. Just looking at like the men's times and the women's times and the people that raced both, and it's faster. It was a faster course than DC, obviously, because DC was pretty slow. It did not have the center equipment. I know that. So it didn't have like any of the center equipment, so maybe that played into it. It had those Middle East ropes for the sled pull, those nice fast twine ones that are easy to grab. But I would say it is almost exactly Cologne. If you look at just a reference example, Sadiq, who ran in Cologne, ran 6 seconds faster in Doha. And as far as Sadiq goes, if you look at all of his races ever, he actually has ran men's pro 7 times. He's been 62 to 61 for 4 of those. He had a 64 in Glasgow, and then in Cologne is where he ran a 57.44, and then in Doha he ran a 57.38. And so you can chuck a lot of that up to like his own improvement, but in terms of time wise, I'd say this course was exactly comparable to Cologne.
That's Sadiq in the middle, the former footballer, as we say, America, we would say soccer player. He was playing for Manchester United, but not for very long. From what I understand, he was really good, but then couldn't quite make it at that level. He was really good young. And now he's crushing HYROX.
Yeah.
From conversations with Tara, she said despite that it wasn't the center sleds, that they were moving really well. She said that the sleds move very good.
That's good. Yeah, I was just gonna pull up Sadiq's splits just to see like comparable his running. What's that?
I was gonna see if you wanted to bring it up, but you don't have to.
No. Oh, HYROX, I have so many tabs open and I'm clicking through them. It's asking me if I'm a robot.
You are a robot. You are a robot.
Ever happened to anybody else, but just got asked if I was a robot by this. So just looking at his total run time with Rock Zone from this one is Doha. Looks like he's about 33:15-ish, 33:21 maybe, or 33:11. And in Cologne, his total run time was 32:45. So he was within 30 seconds of his actual run time in both of them, which means his station time was almost identical as well, with a 6-second difference. So there's not like a big skew one way or the other. So I'd say Cologne, so wherever that falls in your list of how handicapped the courses are, I'd say Cologne and Doha are about equal.
There. So it's just a good race with some money.
Yeah. I mean, that type of money in the race is awesome. I wish, there was more races like that. And it's cool that they do that. Like that was almost its own major regional for the Middle East. Like, and looking at it, you would assume that because of that, like, and what they're able to put up, I would venture to guess that next year one of the majors will be in the Middle East. And maybe they've had 3 races this year that have given out money. Maybe they say, oh, we're going to have a major and we're going to double the prize pot for our major because they want it. Like, because it's the tourist commission, right? They're the ones adding money to the prize pot. So
I mean, that's typically how it works, but we don't know. We still kind of don't know the relationship with HYROX and these various entities. So you might have seen that I posted there's an announcement. It was actually made a couple of weeks ago, but they just started talking about it more, about the first mainland China HYROX. They did one in Hong Kong, which is like the bottom of the little island, and they've done Taiwan is in a couple weeks, and they've done Singapore, but this is the first mainland China race. It's about a 3.5-hour flight, I learned, from Hong Kong. Sorry, did I say Shanghai? What did I say?
Mainland.
Yeah, mainland China. Yeah, right. So, and that's HYROX APAC. So, like, I don't know how it exactly works, because if you like Spartan, I know that it once was owned by a bunch of franchisees, and then they kind of brought it all back in-house with local managers, except for certain countries still own it. And so with HYROX, it's the same thing. I don't know who gets what percentage of what. For me, it's just more good news. We're a worldwide sport, truly global. So it's really good news. And who knows who's going to decide like, oh, well, let's put up more money. Let's get people to come here.
I don't know, but going on what Anthony said, though, I wouldn't put a major in Doha. I'd put Worlds there and jack the prize money up for it.
That'd be crazy. I mean, they're
maybe
going to get a big. They deserve a big race next year just because the turnouts they're getting. But I also think the UK deserves a big race. They deserve a big race every year with their turnout. So, I don't know. Depending on what you're going to do, if you're going to put 2 majors in Europe, one in the US and one in the Middle East, then that seems like likely candidates would be hopefully not Chicago, because Chicago's already been announced. So if it's not Chicago, maybe it's a race later in the spring in the US. Put one of the UK races as a major, more likely than not one of the Germany races as a major. And then
why would you say hopefully not Chicago?
Because it's coming up too soon. I think I bet you maybe Vivian can speak to it as well. Having the races spread out, the major races spread out and not 3 weeks apart, and having them all after the new year so that your whole season is only January to June. Would that be much nicer than November to June?
Yeah, I'm ready for a break, to be honest. So I feel that.
It's a very long season. And
well, it's not as long as OCR, and it's still mostly what you said. We just get the short end of the stick because we don't have that many races. But for Europeans, I think they can focus their season.
You can have the races year round, but just make the elite season 5 or 6 months long.
If anything, too, those earlier races will get you, depending on the system,
chances
to qualify for the majors.
Opportunities to qualify for the majors. Why not? We talk about major qualification all the time. We don't have to go into it again. But if you had all these pre-races in the first part of the year, say September to December, then that's where everybody can be like, oh, I'm going to qualify. These 3 races from here can get me into this major or into that. And it gives you an opportunity to actually have an elite season that's 5 or 6 months long. And anybody that wants to break in has to start their season a little bit early to get into those majors. And it would just be nice if everything was pushed back.
I don't think mid-November to mid-June I don't think that's that bad. I know it would be really sweet to be January to June, but it's
really hard on the athletes.
Yeah, I know it is, but again, remember, they're a global sport, right? So they're all kinds of moving pieces. They're trying to get this thing all over the world, and it's just not always going to line up perfectly. Again, at least it's not like stupid Spartan, which is like the first race of the year is early February Jacksonville, and we're going to have your world championship in fucking December.
I mean, it's good for the spectators, but I think the athletes would prefer a shorter season.
Of course they would. I'm saying, but it's not unheard of. Dave agrees with me. Dave comes from OCR.
I mean, I gotta agree. I like the short season. I mean, just because OCR is one way doesn't mean it's right. It actually was one of the things we've always complained about. So I'd like to see it shorter too. And even as a spectator, I like a season that's condensed, right? I like to hit it all and take a break.
If they could just put like 5 or 6 weeks between all the events, and that's your season. Work backwards from your world championship date. The last major, the LCQs can be in between it, but
and that's the thing, is that they're working on so far we don't have these other American dates released, and I'm pretty sure they know, but they're afraid it's going to cannibalize their other cities, which it won't. Like they think, oh, we can't announce. It's like, it's fine. Like it's fine. You're going to sell those events out anyway. Like New York is going to, not New York,
Chicago.
They're all going to sell out or get close to it. You don't need to
sold
wait.
out today.
Yeah,
Toronto sold out today. By the way, Jabari House, thanks for the comment. If you make a WWE reference, I will probably share it. I'm a dork that way. All right. Do we want to talk about Sydney Wells, who came on my show today, and we did a nice little brief chat about her background and her thoughts on the race, and we'll chat with her after the race in Anaheim.
Haven't watched that yet, but I'm gonna watch it after this. Listen to her thoughts. What were her thoughts, Matt? Share with us.
Like, I know she's CrossFitter, but what was her background before?
She was a track athlete at Missouri.
Ooh, what events?
She ran the 400, I think, in 54 seconds.
Wow.
I think that's all she did was like 200s and 400s.
For not watching the video, you fucking crushed it.
She was a CrossFit athlete.
Yeah.
I know that, but I didn't know you knew her 400s.
I looked them up last week when we were on the show. I thought we were going to talk about it.
Well, let's see. There you go. Yeah, it wasn't a lot. It's about 20 minutes. Because again, I wanted to save it for after. And how much can you talk about? It's the interesting thing, and usually I say don't ask me those questions. I say watch the video, but in this case, I will talk about it a little bit. And you should still watch the video because I need to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I can use all the clicks I can. 1,000 so I can monetize. So she said, I said, did you talk to Christy? What did Christy tell you? And she says, oh, Christy said I should memorize the stations because it's really hard. I said, well, they do give you a big giant sign with the numbers. You can miscount laps. So I said, is anyone coming with you? She said her mom. And I said, okay, have her yell out your laps. That will help. I said, but missing the order isn't that hard. And I said, you can't win the race in the first 3 stations, but you can absolutely lose it. So try not to go out too hot. And she said, that's good advice. So that's what I gave her.
That is good advice.
I mean, I think it's pretty basic. And she said, yeah, it's hard. I said, listen, you're going to go out. I said, everybody in this world of all fitness levels, does their first lap of anything too fast. Like that's going to happen. I said, but if they get away from you, like, do not worry about it. I said, if you come out of the ski erg last, don't worry about it. Like, it's fine.
Because everybody's going to training.
Everybody's going to talk about the ski erg in the same amount of time. She said, I said, I know you haven't had a lot of time, but what do you think? And she said, I've alternated, like I've got my programming. She's with Proven, or as I like to call it, Proven. She said, she's not changing her training that much, but she's like, she was given something today. I forgot what she said, but like she was given something today, her daily dose, and she substituted, lunges for it or burpee broad jumps for it, that kind of thing. So that's what we discussed. But go watch it. It's a nice little quick little chat. So Dave here, go ahead.
Did she talk about like has she increased her volume of running since the end of the quarter?
And I've run a little bit more. That was the two things she said. Yeah.
She was in the 2023 games, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
How did she do in the CrossFit Not 5K?
She was like 5th place in the Not 5K, like an 18:20, which I think it would have been like a 20-minute flat.
I think 20:30 when I did the math was about 20:30.
Yeah, so somewhere in that range. So what is that? That's a 6:30 average pace or something. 6:20. Matt, you're still muted, so nobody can hear you.
I said Dave Werfel gets a gold star. He already watched. So yes, she did burpee broad jumps instead of box jumps on today's workout, for example. So Dave says 111. So not so fast. Ooh. What does the panel think? Let's start with you, Anthony. I'm going to go under. If that's an over-under, let's start there.
If it's over-under, I'm going to say under 111. I'm just curious. Like, I wish I would have listened to your episode. I want to know, has she increased her running and by how much?
She didn't say. She just said, and I've run more. Like, I've added some running. That's all. It wasn't. I didn't get that specific.
Okay. I mean,
it's just a quick get to know you kind of a podcast.
She's probably going to have the fastest station splits, but is she going to come out and be, is it going to be like a Miriam situation where she's going to crush every single station and but not be able to keep up with the women on the runs? I could see that happening, but Miriam's put up a 102 doing that. And so it just depends on which area it's going to be. I'd say she's probably more likely going to fall in like the 107 range, 108.
And what do you think the winner of this race is going to go in?
Depends on how good of a course Anaheim is. Like Sydney could be all the way down at 65 on a good course, and the winner of the race, I bet you, is going to be mid 62s, mid to high 62. maybe 60.
Haven't we been to this venue before? Or no,
Anaheim?
we've never been. Yeah.
So yeah, well, Anaheim last year was all the women PR'd by like 3 minutes. So.
All right, Dave, do you also say under?
Oh yeah, I say under 111. But it's very hard to pick a time because, like Anthony says, we have no idea what the course will be like. I would more pick a placement for her, and I would think she's going to be 5 to 10. I don't think she has quite to make it in there, but at the same time, I don't want to underestimate her because she's obviously extremely fit and in incredible shape considering what she was preparing for. I just think her lack of experience in this, it's going to screw with her pacing, and I don't think she would be faster than Christy O'Connell was. So yeah, I put her between 5 to 10. Oh, look, what a suck up, Sean.
My heart.
So yeah, 5 to 10. And if I was to wager a time, I'm going to go 107.
So Kendall, I 100% use high results. I've used it to write pretty much every post I've done in the last month because it makes it so easy instead of just like going the long way through the HYROX site. By the way, it's HYROX all caps, just like Deca is all caps.
I used the high results to tell you what Sadiq's results were earlier.
Yeah, Kendall. Give us a hard fucking time.
I don't think I said high results though. So yes, I used them to look at all of his past times.
Yeah, shout out high results.
Dave, I'd say you're right on her placement. More likely, I'd say her ceiling placement is a 4th, and her basement placement is probably in that 8 to 10 range.
Yeah,
so probably somewhere between like 4th to 9th.
Yeah, like if she got the 4th spot, it wouldn't be shocking.
No,
it would be impressive. It would be impressive, but it wouldn't be the kind of thing like, whoa, upset of the year. It would just be like, wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
All right, Vivian.
Yeah, I mean, I think I have very similar opinions to both Anthony and Dave. I was my first gut reaction was in that 107 range. It'll be interesting. I think, like Dave said, Christy is like a prototypical person that I think would be able to jump into HYROX and do extremely well. I mean, she's been a 3:04 marathon, and I think coming from my experience personally, when I wasn't running a lot, I could fake a 5K, but I could not fake the type of running that you have to do in a HYROX. It really is more endurance. So like that's why I think maybe a little bit slower than Christy because of that. But I don't really. My other phrase besides "fuck it, we ball" is "fuck around and find out." So I'm not gonna underestimate or talk any shit that's gonna come back and hurt me. So I think she's gonna be. I mean, she's obviously an amazing athlete. I think there's a little bit of a learning curve in anything, and that's gonna come into play. And her performance is gonna be more about like her exposure to HYROX and her preparation more so than how good than her ceiling would be at HYROX with proper ideal training leading up to it.
A couple things. Could she get that 4th and final spot? Yes. A lot of things have to go right. All right. It's your first time. So, you know what I told her, I said, here's the good news. You're going to race later on Sunday. So
it's 6 o'clock. It's like 6:20, 6:30. They told me.
Right. We know too, Vivian. Okay. You're not the only one that gets information. I said, so you can walk around all day. You can go to we got a nice little warm-up zone. You can, get loose there and you can get the layout. But a lot of things have to go right. And like potentially someone has to fuck up, maybe even, right? Like somebody has to get penalized or somebody else goes out and in or something because there's just too many, and we're going to get to all the women going shortly. But I do want to ask you this, Vivian, because Anthony and I disagree on this particular topic. I said, I hope she makes it to Worlds because then a lot more eyes would be on HYROX from CrossFit. And then at Worlds, she's just honestly going to get beaten handily. And then it really shows the CrossFitters like, oh, wow, these people are really serious. Anthony says, well, she didn't make the semifinals and now she's going to just show up. We don't want this to be the D League of fucking sports. You don't get to speak yet. Vivian has to answer and then you get to speak.
That was a gross misrepresentation.
It's like, I nailed it. That's exactly how he sounds. That's his accent too. Go ahead.
Well, wait. Well, what did he actually say?
Go
You're
ahead,
gonna have
Anthony.
to comment on a false impersonation?
I nailed it, but go ahead. What did you say, Anthony?
I said I don't want all the CrossFit semifinalists or the people that don't make the semifinals just to think, oh well, I'm done with CrossFit for the season, so I'm just going to go over to HYROX and win money there, because they won't. And yes, it would be good for it to like happen. I actually just want the best 15 women, the best 15 men to actually be at Worlds. Like, as long as we're getting the right 15, it's good. And you know, when you're asking for 15, you're getting those people that are finishing, I think, who said this before, but 10th to 15th place. I think VJ said this. Those people that are getting that 10th to 15th could probably just be 30 or 40 different people, but the right mix that happened to happen at that time. And so if she gets a spot, that's great, but it could turn into a lot of smack talk from hardcore CrossFitters that want to say, oh, that's just like what's that? God, I don't know basketball. What's the basketball tournament that's not the NCAA?
The NIT, the National Invitation Tournament.
The 65th place teams and everybody else that are just like, oh, we're going to go do this tournament because we didn't make March Madness.
All right. Now that you've heard pretty much the exact same thing I said, Vivian, what do you think?
I guess I don't really like. I think in terms of like the smack talk stuff, for the most part, the people who are talking the most smack are the people that are doing the work, with a few notable exceptions. But I mean, again, it's coming back to one of my phrases. Like, you want to fuck around, you're gonna find out. You know, like I feel like if really great athletes want to come in, like, that's great. I want to see, like, if they come in and I get smashed, like, so be it. But I like, what makes the sport enticing is having really good athletes come in, and if they come in from CrossFit and immediately crush it, like, great, good for them. I think, like, there are going to be some who can do that. Christy was like the perfect example of somebody who would be able to come in immediately and absolutely crush it. But I think if you don't have the kind of background that she does have, I guess I'm talking a little bit specifically about Christy, but maybe should be more general, you know, you're going to find out really quick. You're going to be humbled like we all have been. So, like, in terms of, I mean, it's whoever makes it on the day. I'm not really worried about people. I'm not worried about the shit talking, like, come in, you know.
I want to know who the notable exceptions are.
No.
How everybody else seems to know who you're talking about. Can you tell me in the private chat?
I think, yeah, wait, which one's the privite chat?
The one that says comments. Yeah.
No, the one that says private chat. I'm like, ooh, spill the tea. I'm like, who's he talking about? Because most people in the sport do talk out loud. Like, most of the people, like, anyway.
What girls talk out loud? You spill the tea. What girls talk out loud?
Do you want me to open my Vivian file on my phone?
Yes, please do.
You can text me if you want. If you're afraid to type in there, you can text me, because I'm very curious.
I mean, honestly, most of the guys in HYROX are probably guilty, but I mean, I was just thinking of one person specifically.
Oh, okay. I don't think it would matter if you said that person. I'm not even going to say if it's a man or a woman. I don't think it would matter if you mentioned them. Maybe they go by
saying that Hunter shit talks a lot.
Yep. Well, other people too, but
I was like becoming bored with that.
All right. Well, I'm trying. Let the record show I will always protect the anonymity of my hosts. Dave will throw you under the moving train, not even the bus. So, wow. Okay.
How dare you? Dave? I'm so bothered.
Well, yeah, I think that's why I was confused, because we all know that about Hunter. I thought maybe it was something else.
I think you could probably expand it to like a good amount of the guys. I mean, they're not.
Yeah, but that's the problem. Listen, okay, it's kind of like the old adage, right? If you take most women and you ask them like how they look, like no matter what, they think they don't look great before they go out. And you ask any man, no matter what he's wearing, the ugliest, fattest guy in a wife beater's like, I look pretty good. So I think that's just overconfidence versus underconfidence, men versus women. I think that's kind of a basic thing.
Lauren told me that today. Like, how do you have so much confidence?
How do you guys have to me all the time?
And I was like, I don't know.
Stacy's like, please, just enough, dude, enough. But yeah, I mean, what else? Like, what else is there, right?
Dave's bored.
If I can't brag on myself, then what else is there? That's kind of what I meant. All right. So we covered this kind of in depth last week. What has changed? What do we want to talk about that's changed with the men and women going to this weekend? First of all, Vivian, is there anybody you're rooting for this weekend, or anybody like that you're in a similar camp with? Or do you have a proven camp that you're in, a proven or an Irmer or an Engine? Are you in one of those?
I don't think anybody who trains under Ian is going, not that I'm aware of. But I'm in a group chat with Morgan, so I want to see Morgan. I mean, I really like everybody, so I want to see everybody do well. But I'm in a group chat with Morgan, and I know she's been hitting some really good workouts recently, so rooting for her. And I mean, yeah, most of the girls are awesome. I mean, most. No, I sound like I'm talking shit. I like everybody. So I want to see everybody do well.
Matt, can you pull up the list? Can you pull it up? Can you pull it up like Jack's list that's nice in dark mode?
I'm doing it right now. I was actually just Googling dark mode on my
you can switch it. It's a settings thing.
I know, I'm looking at it. Appearance.
Yep.
Mode dark. It's still light. That's weird. All it did was make it dark on the top. That's super weird.
Oh, you have it in Excel for you'd have to switch it.
To what?
Hang on.
I'm gonna just go ahead and bring it up to not bore the people.
Okay.
I like day mode even at night, but that looked cool the way Jack had it.
You got an echo.
I know, it just went away.
We can go women first. I can't read this. It's a very tiny script.
Who was it that made that? But somebody made a comment, I thought, earlier about Amy Bevilacqua.
Oh,
he's amazing.
I think she's fantastic.
You talking about the comment in the chat? I mean, I'm not gonna rat out who did it, but that was hilarious.
I think Vivian's going to root for Maria though, because I think at one point I made Vivian an honorary Canadian, so she has to be patriarchy here.
Okay, also love me and Maria had a really good time procrastinating warming up in DC, so I'm also rooting for her.
There you go. So, are you going there, Vivian? Like, are you doing anything there?
Actually, yeah, surprise announcement. I just decided this past week that I am going. So
nice.
I will be there. Haven't booked my flight. Haven't booked the hotel.
In Anaheim?
Yeah.
Do you want to be Matt's rabbit so we can actually watch the race?
Well, I'm racing it.
Oh.
Okay. Like, yeah.
Sorry. I didn't know you were muted. Oh, Matt's trying to talk and he's muted.
Why would you think we want to chase people on a phone? We can just go to the stations.
Because the racing happens during the runs. It's fun to see, and you want to see how people are doing it.
See them come past the camera.
Okay, then make sure you're at a station. You can see them come past and see the gaps.
I will do that.
All right.
Then Are you going to commentate? Yeah.
I'll commentate. You said Dave's going to commentate with me, and then
I told you I'm racing that day. I'm away at a race.
Oh, okay.
Who said they could do it?
JK said he'd do it, but it might be very early for him, so I don't know if he will. But I'll let him know.
But I feel like there was another person. There was like another American. No offense to JK. I just thought somebody else in our group said they would do it.
Oh, you see, Lauren, I just saw her commented. She goes, "How do men have so much confidence?" That's exactly what Matt said. So I was asked that, just so you know, Matt. Hey, Dave.
Yo.
Now that you know Vivian is racing the Elite 15, how do you feel about that?
I still don't like it. I'm not one to back down on my thing. So here's one of the problems I have with it. And it's nothing, again, obviously, I love Vivian. It's nothing against her. We were, you know, but what my problem is, one of the things right now, we still don't know how at least I don't know how the next person is being chosen if someone's hurt, injured, or needs to be replaced. So even though they're running in, say, the 4th, 5th wave, and I think they're not affecting their race, they possibly could be, because we don't know how the next person's selected. So let's say the next person selected as the 5th place woman. What if Vivian ends up coming 5th and marks that spot? It's just, they still affect the race. And in my mind, the majors were for the people who have already qualified. This race is the LCQ. This is for the people who have not yet qualified.
I just want to say the one thing mostly wrong about that is you don't put Vivian in 5th.
Yeah, that's true. Vivian comes 4th, right?
4th, always.
Always
well,
4th.
I would be like kind of excluded from the results. Like, just act like I'm not there.
No, I know that, and that's what I totally understand. And that's what I say when Kent did it too. It's like it's not something I have against the athletes doing it. I don't think HYROX should invite the athletes to do it. I should say they should have them go run doubles, run whatever, do whatever you want to do. But this race should be straight for the LCQ. And despite their best efforts to not affect the race, their sheer presence affects how the races can be run, even in the back heats. Because the point of the LCQ is, anybody in it can win. Anybody in it you can come from the 4th wave and win. You can do whatever. Is it likely? Probably not. But it's still there, which means if the already qualified people are in the back waves, they are still affecting the race somehow.
So, Dave, what do you think about, I don't know if you heard on Savan podcast that Hunter went on there and said he is actually going to set his world record in Anaheim. That's where he's going to go do it. And they wouldn't let him race in the front heat because he said they won't let me race in the front heat because I'm so fast. I have to go by myself at the end of the day. So I think he's going to be in the last heat with Kent, who is also racing it.
Yeah, I mean, I have the same opinion. It hasn't changed any. I mean, it runs from the same. And I don't have a problem with one thing. I can't listen to that one.
I don't have a problem with putting him in the last heat. I don't think they should be in the way, but it's a mass participation sport. Anyone should be able to run whatever they want. If they want to run afterwards, I don't care.
I just don't give them a time. Sorry.
But yeah, okay,
Sorry,
they run
Vivian.
and don't get a time, fine. I'm down with that, but they shouldn't. It's just, it doesn't look good. Again, if this is the LCQ, we want, say, the top the top 2 men for this one. And then if Hunter and Kent win, well, all of a sudden, okay, now it's the 3rd and 4th place men that are going to get the spot. And I mean, that is likely to happen. So I just think that they've had their races. There's 2 races of the year that are not theirs. And I don't think that that's too much to ask.
I do think it's tough. I'd be hard pressed in a spot like where Hunter is, where this race is in your backyard, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't you go? You're not allowed to do the one race that is literally in your backyard. So that's hard, but I get it. I just think, they should definitely be excluded from the results.
Past history with Hunter has told me that even if it's in his backyard, if there's no money to be won, he doesn't run it.
Well, there's no money to be won on this one. He's just trying to set his world record.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is that, there's a million other races he could try to, well, not a million, but there's many other races he could try to set a world record on.
Yeah.
Well, they're gonna if it ends up being Kent Hunter 1-2 and it just looks stupid on their end, they might not do it again, right? Like if they end up, you know what I'm saying, and then they have to say here's who's actually going, and it just looks bad, then yeah, maybe they don't do it next year.
But I just don't see why you wouldn't already set it up when you already know that that's a very high likelihood.
Yeah, it's the same principle. If this is possible for people to have it or do it, then it's going to happen. So why wouldn't you just prevent it in the first place? Just like we were just talking about with the med balls in DECA and the med ball sit-ups, exactly. You have an ability to fix it before something bad happens. Why wouldn't you do that ahead of time?
I mean, also you gotta understand that for them, Hunter does actually move the needle as far as eyeballs. So if Hunter wants to race, they're probably going to let him. Again, you could say it's unofficial, but then if he does break the record, then it's like, you know what I'm saying? So maybe it's like, cool, if you want to run, you don't get to keep a time, like you said. Like, cool, you want to run to get a nice sim in, cool, but we're not going to let you, like, you're not going to get a record. You're not going to place in the leaderboard.
He hasn't touched the center equipment in a venue. I mean, he has it at his home, but he hasn't touched it in the venue. So it's, for him, it's a good call to like go get his hands on it and stuff and feel what it's like. Now, whether he finishes the race or not and runs the entire thing is different. But if they're excluding him from the results because they want to show 1 and 2, like, I mean, I don't think he would be offended that Hunter's more likely than not going to win this race if he goes and races it, right? So he's going to show up
unless he stops if he's off record pace, which he also has done.
But he's going to show up number 1 on all the results, and then like what 1 and 2 get their LCQs, but now we have to change it to 3 and 4 or 2 and 3.
When all the HYROX people, when all the CrossFit people hit me up and say who's going, and I say it, and they go, but didn't Hunter win? Exactly. It's the optics aren't great.
I feel like it's like, I don't know. There's a lot of talk about optics. I feel like it's not that hard to just be like, well, 1 and 2 already qualified, so it makes sense that 3 and 4 are going. Like that's already how the majors are set up. Like I don't really see why it's such an optical.
Well, do me a favor. When 10 people write you and ask me like, wait a minute, if she won, why isn't she going to the World Championship? Because that's what happened with Christy.
So what Vivian's saying there, and
we understand it because we live in the sport.
But Vivian, I'd actually agree with you. But they've made such an effort to make the LCQs different from the majors that's why optically it seems to matter. If they were all the same, which I actually wish, and I've said this lots, they wish they were all like the LCQ, then it wouldn't matter because the roll down would be a normal thing. But I don't think in the rules they've actually even instituted the possibility for a roll down in the LCQs.
My original, like, I don't think the elites should race the LCQs was simply because what if Hunter's trying to get Jake Williamson to Worlds, so I'm going to pace him for this, and he's just got to stick with me. Like that kind of stuff. I like if you allow them to race, you open it for that kind of chicanery. So,
right. Yeah, I mean, I see that as a problem, but I think, like, I don't know. I feel like HYROX is already pretty hard to understand. Like, I don't think this is like a hill to die on. Like, I was actually going to come on here and be like, hey guys, how does the doubles work? Because me and Katie, in addition to doing pro, I think I'm going to do doubles with Katie, and we don't know what the doubles is at Worlds. Like, do we all qualify and all do pro weight at Worlds? I don't know.
Everything at Worlds is pro weight. There's no open weight.
Which Katie Duke or Katie Simonson or Katie Crawford?
Katie Knight.
Katie Knight.
3 strikes and you never got it.
Yeah. So,
welcome back to HYROX, Katie Knight. Last we saw dropped a sandbag and kicked
don't
her
drop
out.
The sandbag.
By the way, another
welcome
bullshit
back, Katie Knight.
qualification.
But they fixed it, Dave. They fixed it.
They didn't fix it. They kicked her out of the race. They didn't
no,
fix it.
But they fixed it, the rule book afterwards. They made they make their adjustments.
Okay. All right. That's awesome. I don't know who Katie Crawford is. I just made that name up.
So we should get into this, shouldn't we?
Morgan wants to get your attention, or she just saying Vivian.
Hi,
Morgan.
By the way, since she's listening, Morgan's my pick to win.
Morgan Schultz is your pick to win.
Yep. I think I said that last week.
I think Morgan and Camilla are going to have a good race.
I think I would say, based on experience, it's Camilla's race to lose. What are you laughing at? Oh, respond to her text. Jesus. So I said I think it's Camilla's race to lose, just based on experience versus Morgan. But yeah, it should be a good race.
I think there's 4 spots, 5 women that have a real good shot. So it's gonna be good to see.
Who are your other 3 then? Who are the other 3?
Amy Belavacqua. I think she has a high probability of getting in those top 4. I think Maria Fecik. Is that how you say it?
Fecik.
She has that 3-4 ceiling area. Anjay Hardez. has that area. So those three, along with Camilla and Morgan, like it's really going to come out to like how they race. I'm sure Lauren Rentala and Sydney Wells could also be close to that like conversation of getting one of those spots. So it's good to see very similar skill levels on all these women, and it should be a really good race. It's exciting to watch, actually.
Yeah, so I would say, would you say Camilla is like a plus 150 and Sydney is like a plus 750?
What are you talking about, like to qualify or to win?
To qualify.
To qualify, yeah, I'd say Camilla is probably not a plus, or what is it?
Yeah,
minus?
I guess to qualify, she would be.
I think Camilla's. I mean, Camilla's.
To qualify, she would be like negative.
If she, if Camilla's, if you're talking about just to qualify, I think her
lock. She's my lock of the week.
If she has a really bad race, she might be 5th. So you're looking at like to get one of those top 4 spots, she's gonna be up there and she's gonna be fighting for it.
Imagine breaking a finger and still going a 105.
Yeah, right. On your like second lap around the course.
Yeah.
Slamming into one of those things too. And it's got to be painful. She still had to do all the rowing, all the skier, all the farmer carry, all the wall balls.
It wasn't like a pinky finger either, was it? It was like there was a main finger.
Yeah. I think it was like her pinky and ring finger or something.
So either way, anybody's watching, it's Monday night, almost 7 p.m. on the East Coast. Have they sent out, if they've sent out the email, let us know, because the email will tell us how many spots there are to World Championships, for example, for everyone else racing. For Vivian, for example, who wants to know if she can make it. Sometimes it's just the winner. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's 2 or 3 spots.
We already know how many spots. There's 4 spots.
Not for
he means for age
doubles.
Group
not for doubles.
For age group. Oh.
I really wish that they wouldn't wait until the week of to tell us what time we're racing.
Well, I think it's based. Oh yeah, what time? That'd be great.
Yeah.
I wish the times would come out sooner. That would be nice. So does that mean, Vivian, you're racing the women's pro, but doubles will be before that because the women's pro is pretty late at night?
Yeah, I didn't think that was the case, but fuck it, we ball.
Usually the only thing left is the relays at that hour. So I will not be able to do a relay, I guess.
Yeah.
Unless they were first thing in the morning, which I doubt.
Yeah, well, these are pretty late at night, the men and women times.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be like 9 something East Coast time.
It's interesting. If they would have put them in the morning, then Europe would still be up to be able to watch them. But they put them so late in the afternoon that Europe's not going to be able to watch.
And they don't logistically with the courses, it would make sense. I mean, how many times have we said this? It would make sense just to have them go off first.
Yeah.
Well, HYROX isn't very popular in Europe anyway.
Yeah. All right. Do we want to say anything else about the women before we move on to Le Men?
Did we all make picks? Did we say our picks?
Morgan, Camilla, Maria, Amy.
All right, Vivian, put you on the spot.
I feel like I'm at a middle school cafeteria table and you're asking me to pick some friends and then tell everybody else you can't sit with us.
This is your top 8 in Facebook.
You can skip it. You can not do it. Stop trying to make fetchick happen. You can skip it if you want.
Just because Morgan's on here and I know she'll roast me if I don't, I'm picking Morgan.
Perfect. You're off the hook. You're off the hook.
I'm gonna say it's gonna go Vivian, Camilla, Morgan, Amy.
Wow, look at you.
Maria.
Look at you. Okay. Moving on.
Racing before that, so we'll see.
There've been no changes.
Get the wall balls and throw the ball at somebody and get a DQ right there.
Nothing has changed, right, on this?
Jake Williamson.
I thought I had him. Hang on. Oh, I have Eric Williams. Do you know the difference between Eric Williams? Yes, they're 2 different people. Okay, hang on.
Yeah, there's a lot of difference.
The men have 2 spots, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So nothing's changed, right? All these
You
men
asked
we knew
Harry
in the
Thompson, is he coming?
Harry Thompson is yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there he is. I didn't see it.
Oh, that's not good.
Whoa.
Oh.
That's much worse.
You got to highlight the cells, dude.
Get off my back, lady.
Matt, there's nothing more stressful than people watching you have to do Excel.
I know, right? Now I have a software update. God damn it. Look at that.
All right, Anthony, who you got for the men? Top 2.
Oops.
Hunter's going to win.
Hunter and Kent.
Hunter and Kent, 1-2. I don't know. Let's see. I mean, Isaac has been really strong. I think I'm going to go with just what I've been thinking since DC. I think Colin's going to win.
I Colin and Isaac was what I called, and I'm sticking with it. And that's excluding Hunter and Kent. That's out of there. It's just like with Vivian. I don't include Vivian in the thing because I'm picking who's going to get the spots, and so I say Colin and Isaac.
I think John Wynn has a good shot though. And same thing with Lucas. I just don't know where Lucas is at. So I mean, I'm going to say Colin for the win, and that second place spot is going to be. I think it's going to come down to it, and I think some guys might just be out of it. They come into the wall balls like 3rd or 4th, and they don't think they're going to get the spot. So maybe they back off, and Jeffrey Voisin comes in with his second place in Cologne, 2nd place in Anaheim. Anaheim gets the spot.
Joffrey very well could happen.
Joffrey Voisin.
I mean, even like guys we don't talk about much, like we just mentioned Eric Williams, and that guy is super fast, and Anas we know is amazing. Like it's going to be a great race. Like this is not going to be a runaway.
No,
for anyone.
I think it's going to be really tight up top, and I think you're going to get guys that could just kind of bleed off and they break as the stations go on.
So how many of these men did race last time in Cologne?
Lucas, Harry, Joffrey, Jake
Jonathan.
Williams, John Wynn.
So yeah, you got to think this is going to be true do or die.
Yeah. Who was your picks, Matt?
I mean, I think we all think Isaac and Colin are like the favorites for the and there's only 2 spots, right?
Yep.
All right, well then I don't have to worry about it. If there was 4, oh, I know what I wanted to ask you. John Wynn was left off his relay team. What do you think about that, Anthony?
I don't know. Was he left off, or did he not want to do it?
Oh, well, somebody asked me why he was left off. If he didn't want to do it, I guess. Why would you not want to do it? Did he tell you that?
No, but I mean, who's going to beat the American team anyway? Unless they talk about USA team number 2, I don't think the Americans are anything to worry about.
Is there going to be a USA team number 2? Is there an official USA team number 2?
No.
Why not?
Pretty sure that
they could have a
Lauren Griffith. Pretty sure Lauren Griffith, Vivian, Dylan, and Rich want to do a team 2.
No, I think they'd be great, and they'd probably have just as good a chance to win as anybody. But I mean, they set this up with 1 team per country. I don't think they'll do it.
No, I don't think they will. They would be a fast team.
It'd be a damn fast team.
They should sneak in there.
I don't know if I'd be on that team. That's a different. That's like sprinting.
Have you done a relay yet?
Yeah.
Which stations did you do?
Well, I was on a mixed team, and our guys were finishing the race when the relay started. So I had to do the freaking ski erg against all of the guys, and I got smashed. And I did not like it.
I mean, you're going to see the guys should be doing both machines for every single team
Right.
that's in there. So
Yeah, definitely.
you're going to see some really fast times in this upcoming Sunday, June 9th.
And I think I'd have generally the women have faster times for wall balls and for burpee broad jumps. Is that right?
I don't know for burpees.
No, sorry, I do know. I would think for me, if I was putting the men, it would be the 2 machines and the farmer carry, is be where I would put the men, and I'm not sure about the fourth one.
Carry is the shortest thing proportionally.
But if you look at times, it seems like the men's times on the farmer carry seem to be faster. Like you look at a lot of the men, especially, are like running with them.
Yeah, but the top women, some of the top men do it in a minute 30. Some of the top women do it in a minute 30, minute 35. Yeah. So there's less bleed time in that station than something like the machines.
Oh no, you got to put them. You got to put them on the machines.
And I'd say the men on the lunges too, because they just longer stride, less reps. They, even if they're a little bit slower, it's worth it. So I don't know. We'll see. What's that?
Women on the sled.
I know how I would break it up, but I don't know how the team's going to break it up. So
what if we do this? What if this is a huge success? Everybody loves it, goes bananas, right? So the next year there's 2 races. There's the men's and women's relays for countries.
That'd be cool.
I mean, again,
get more people. Each country gets more people.
What country would beat the U.S. men's team if it was Hunter, Kent, Dylan, and Rich or Ryland?
Well, we don't just race because it's hard to beat somebody. It's like, well, I know the race.
But it'd be fun. It's gonna be fast. It's gonna be really fast.
But you say who could win? It might take a penalty.
Exactly.
A little step over the line on that sled pull.
Yeah,
could happen.
By the way, talk about stupid penalties that need fixed. That one.
Would you rather?
Go ahead.
Would you rather them put a bumper there and just see the athletes fall down?
No, I think if I was going to do that penalty, I mean, I think maybe I would have it if you're stepping the line and they deem it a penalty, maybe just a shuttle run across and back, rather than have to pull the sled back and then pull it back and forth. Like, that's just so much.
I think it should be if you cross the line, not if you step on it.
Not if you touch it, right?
I'm fine with that too.
Yeah.
Speaking of teams, so Miriam posted, and so far she's the only captain I'm aware of that did not put herself on the team. Did you see that?
She probably isn't going then, which means now that we know Rebecca Mason's not going, there's an open women's spot. So if Miriam's not the top time to go, if they do it by time, it looks like it'll extend down to Belle or Jade.
We don't know. We still don't know.
Yeah. I think if they do that, I think it ends up being Jade that goes. Obviously, I think she would take it up in a heartbeat.
I think it should be the 4th place from the Cologne LCQ, but
I don't disagree.
Yeah,
I don't think
it's by time, so either one is fine.
It is by time that they have said that.
No.
Oh, we don't know. We're guessing.
Details, Vivian. Details.
Well, I just want to make sure
We know that they reference the next person in line, but didn't say how that person.
Well, and an email said next person in line, whatever that means, and then another email to me just said it won't be at Anaheim, and we'll let you know after. So that's what we know.
But on that topic, these people have to get their hotel rooms in Nice, and it's all completely sold out. Vivian, did you get your hotel room?
Oh, I got a hotel room.
Did you get it?
I did it like 2 days ago.
Oh, where did you get it? Like one of the hotels that they did through Nirvana?
No, I couldn't. That portal was just being weird for me, and it would only let me reserve like 2 days. So I just went and found a different hotel.
What hotel did you end up at? Sorry, you don't have to. You can type it in the private chat. I don't want to blast your Vivian staying here. Go see her. No.
Let's have another great European time.
Yeah. Does this hotel have in-house massages?
I'm just curious. I'm curious because we ended up booking a hotel that's like over a mile away because none of the ones that are close, were available anymore. And the link that they had sent that said was for all the elite athletes to use to book the hotel, it said completely sold out. So I was like, well, that's strange. There's still 4 women and 2 men that haven't qualified.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've go ahead.
I was just say, like I said, I when I tried to book it through there, it would only let me do like 2 or 3 days, and I'm going to be there for longer than that. So I just went rogue, and I think I'm probably about a mile away, but I was just like, that's fine.
Yeah, there are several hotels about a mile away that are short
Well-
Uber or long walk away.
Basically all the hotels within a mile radius of the venue are sold out.
I booked one not that long ago. I don't think they're all sold out.
You're going?
To Anaheim?
No, they're talking Nice.
Oh, sorry.
Where am I wrong?
No, I was talking Nice.
Oh, okay. That's
All
what I
right, well,
thought.
don't get ahead of us. Don't get ahead of us.
All right, what's next?
Hang on one second.
The Anaheim live stream info. What time is Anaheim at? Who's broadcasting it? And when we're going to do it. That's what's left on the list here.
Well, you're broadcasting it, Anthony.
Well, I'll commentate. It's like Sunday night or something, right? So it's like 7 p.m. for me, I think.
Oh, it's Sunday night?
Sunday
Yeah,
night.
Dave.
Day.
The race is on Sunday, not Saturday.
All right, I might be in.
All right. Well, I forgot to mention another athlete coming who's now my roommate. Dave, it is a Canadian. Do you want to guess?
Isaac Sanders. Oh,
Is
Samuel
Azar
Libert.
What's that?
Samuel Libert.
Samuel Hebert is correct.
Yep. Sammy's going to go down and crush it.
He posted in the HYROX group, does anybody need a roommate? And I was like, me. Dude, you guys don't have fucking Venmo or Zelle. What is wrong with your country, Dave?
We can just email to each other money.
You can, right. And so I thought it would work. So he like sent me money through your email system, but it doesn't work for America at all.
No. The only thing we have that seems to work is PayPal. But yeah, like for us, we can just email back and forth through our banks. And a lot of banks is like dirt cheap, if not free.
But Zelle is like worldwide for like every bank.
Yeah.
Except you guys, I think. Anyway, you guys are fucked up.
Hey, dude, we just got golf ball hail. I just showed you. Of course, this place is crazy.
Okay, so the live feed. Everyone will ask you 100 times, where can I watch the race? So it will behoove all of you listening and all of you watching to send the link that you get from me very soon. Probably tomorrow I'll post it. And yeah, if you forget, it's Hybrid Fitness Media YouTube. I will be going live on the Instagram channel because we've learned that's a better way to do it than to use Restream and have the feed be choppy. As much as I would love to go multiple cam Restream, I just think we got to go with what works the best. And if you'd like to help contribute, you can give money on there. So I will be encouraging people to do that, which helps cover our very high expenses to get me out to these places. So, the little PayPal, the little YouTube pay for a comment. If you can say anything you want pretty much, and I'll show it. So if you want to insult a friend like Scott the Faint Knowles likes to do, we'll put it right up there. So yeah, link coming. But yes, you'll definitely be able to watch it live on our channels. And Dave hopefully commentating.
I think, now that I've realized I was mistaken and it's on a Sunday, I will probably be back in time.
Yeah, I think even though I knew it was on Sunday, I booked like hotel in Friday out Saturday and fucked up. And then I had to go back and change it, or I did it with flights, but I had to change it. So yes, that's another thing. Everyone's going to wake up Saturday and say, when's the race? When's the race? And it's Sunday, this Sunday. So 6 days from now. By the way, please come up and comment how good I look for all the weight that I've lost. And you may have to pick me up because I have no energy, because according to my co-hosts, I'm under, what is it? I'm on caloric deficits. I'm on low caloric deficit. Also, my hair will never look this good again. You know, when you leave a haircut place and they just crush it, it'll never look this good again. So take a good look now. Anything else? Parting shots, gentlemen and lady. Sounds like a no.
No, nothing to add. Excited to watch the last LCQ, figure out who all these wonderful people that will be going to Nice are, and wrapping up the playoffs, basically the postseason, and finishing with Worlds. 3
Dave,
weeks.
Dave, what do you have on the show this week? OFX podcast.
This week, actually, just Beth and I this week. Last week, we had Isaac on, talked about his experience at DEKA. This week, just Beth and I, lots to catch up on and what's going on around here. So good. But I just want to say to LCQ people, racers, Canadians, good luck being Isaac and Maria and Katie. All the best.
Samuel Hebert.
Samuel Hebert. Yeah, well, Sammy knows. Sammy's going to go win it. He's going to go to Worlds, win it all. He's done. First
Vivian,
race.
Vivian, do you have any sponsors you want to shout out? Do you have like did you have a goggle sponsor when you were a swimmer?
Oh my gosh, if I was listening to all my sponsors, we would never get off this show. I just have so many. So many. God, where do I begin?
Okay. Respond to Morgan's text, please. And this is me thanking you for watching. If you're enjoying this show, tell a friend. It's the best thing you can do. And have a great week, everybody. Oh, sign up for the Hybrid Engine. Get the daily dose.
There you go.